Welcome everyone to a fun open source bug hunting live stream. Other YouTubers do clickbait, we can do that too. Undiagnosed concentration disorder, autism, ADHD. I do not know, I actually, truth be told, realized over the years I have it hard to concentrate on other things when I know about bugs or either bugs or other nice things to do, right? Case in point, yesterday, live on Twitch, I noticed of our Linux distribution, some detail, not some most widest used detail doesn't work anymore. We wrap the compiler and strip and other utilities even install to automatically transform things, either compiler options and installer stuff, because oftentimes it is manual labor, time consuming to patch all the make files and for CFlex and installation. And obviously it's more error prone, right? If you want to build with certain CFlex, you would need to manually verify that all the CFlex and similar such 2 dozen build systems do the right thing. So historically, since 20 years, obviously it was easier and more scalable to just automatically transform that, right? And so yesterday I found, wanting to debug Firefox for 32 platforms, I found live on Twitch, on our Twitch live stream, there in the links, that our strip wrapper doesn't work anymore, right? With the effect that Firefox build system strips the binaries, which we do not want to do with it. And so I have this clickbait title. Of course, there's always not only we need clickbait, right? We need success. We need to grow our YouTube channel and earn some money with open source fixes. But of course, it except running a YouTube business, it sort of course, doesn't make sense for individuals like ourselves to fix bugs in the middle of the day or after work or weekend or whenever, right? Because truth be told, I probably should do different things now than hunting a stupid tiny little bug. And that's the thing, right? I realized over the years, I mean, that's a true thing, right? I realized when I know about stupid bugs, I have it really hard to concentrate, right? So for me, it is more efficient to, if you're wondering why do I sometimes fix stupid bugs, because otherwise it seriously bugs me the whole day. And like doing other management stuff, running my company, and so I always have it in the back of my mind that there is a problem that I should take care of, right? And then it's taking concentration efficiency actually away from me. So I sometimes fix some bugs earlier in the day, not that it keeps bugging me or consuming task switching time there. Leave in the comments below. And maybe also because all the YouTubers, there are so many, even this ex-Microsoft employee making funny YouTube videos and stuff like autism and stuff, like sure, maybe it has, but also maybe because I'm not the greatest fan of all the paid promotional stuff on YouTube, of millions of subscribers needing to sell out for promoting random stuff and better health apps, right? Maybe people also can just live their lives in peace and harmony with even some light concentration marginality. Anyway, let's get some bug debugged. That is a little bit annoying. I tried this yesterday live on Twitch, but last night it's like, yeah, okay, let's go to bed. The thing is somewhere here. So we built all the wrappers and then somehow disappears. That is a really annoying. Oh, this is also the wrong script. Did I here? So that is super annoying to debug, which it's neither the most amazing YouTube content, obviously, to debug some shell scripting. So here we build wrappers and then they somehow disappear. At least that is my initial impression. And that's also a recurring theme of what's not tested is broken, right? And what you don't have test suite for surely doesn't work tomorrow anymore. Case in point, so we might have broken that, right? I last year cleaned up some things. I'm 99.9% sure it did work for decades, although maybe only for native builds, but maybe I'm 99 basically 100% sure it definitely did work, the strip wrapper. I'm not that confident for cross builds, which this is a cross build. I could test a native build though, but it's pointless to test a native build now because we need to fix it anyway, right? So even if it works for native builds, like it would be one data point, but that's not the most helpful data point because we need to fix it anyway. So so basically, do we see here? So let's read what I've done here. I enabled Xtrace for this shell tracing facility. Did I not search for remove? And so the question is, so that's removing lib rm. So the question is, where does it disappear? That's of course a totally low-tech issue that every user could debug, right? But obviously I cannot wait for any other. Here's, by the way, rm-f, why does that? So here it is indeed removed. And that's sometimes, obviously that's what this Xtrace is for, right? Instead of guru meditating, single stepping through those makefiles. So here we really delete that. Why do we delete that here? So we first built it for, okay, so for all in wrappers, what is that even doing? I've actually seen that code yesterday. Why do we delete some stuff? And that's also why stuff should have helpful comments, right? I'm not a fan. I would say maybe 90% of software comments, like literally just comments in the source code, are superfluous and not good and not helping, because it's actually very difficult. In my opinion, most people do comments wrong. Because many people, there are two kinds of developers. Either they overcomment, at each step they write, this is doing that, this is doing that. It's like due. That is, you see this in the source code, right? Or the other extreme of people don't comment stuff at all. And this comments, like commenting every single thing of this is doing that, it's like due. The code, in my opinion, should be that readable and expressive with function names and variable names to make this obvious already. So in my opinion, the right balance, not commenting every line, but adding helpful overall and general context of what it's doing. Not like this is deleting that like due. I mean, it's obvious from the comment, right? So, but leave in the comments below what's your impression with code stuff. So here we create these wrappers for linking the strip wrapper. So that worked, and then later, why do we, so we have somewhere a for loop. What do we even do here? For that in wrappers here, we delete that. So building, what do we even do here? So for all in wrappers and that. So here's basically a comment missing why we do that. So here we create install wrappers for install cp, ln, and mf to automatically transform that. So what is this code doing? I have no idea. Set equals 0. By the way, is this a function? So historically, other people didn't use local as often as I. Okay, this is also super stupid in shell scripting that you cannot local not in function, which like would be cool if local would work on if scope, on conditional scope and block scope, but I think it doesn't. Okay, so here we someone. So what is basically missing here is missing a comment why we do that, because I might not have done that and it doesn't instantly ring a bell. So xy4 this wrapper for x, and also I don't like too long variable names too much, but x and y and z and I, j, k, l, m, n are in my opinion okay for math stuff, for iterating matrices or so. But x and y, this is most likely someone else's style. I'm pretty sure where this originated, but I don't want to shame other people. But so what I usually use, like if I iterate, like I use p for packages and stuff, like at least I use I would use like at least W for wrapper or stuff, like XYZ is really, nah. So what do they do here? So for all, okay, so this iterates all those wrappers and, so they delete, someone decided it's a good idea to delete everything. Maybe we simply don't add wrappers in. Maybe this was always broken. Maybe it's not a regression from me then. Maybe. And by the way, I yesterday saw this. This is also not my style. I never used stupid words in code, like Linus Torvalds' oops stuff. I'm pretty sure I never heard. Again, I don't want to. It's 25-year-old stuff, right? I'm pretty sure I know where it's coming from, but it's like I would rather, like it's like dude, it's pointless, right? Like just basically even printing out either error. I mean, you know what? I think this should be error, and it's like print a bloody useful name, right? Like not oops, do. It's like do. It's pointless. It's unprofessional. Like basically everything, like assertion, error, whatnot. Like basically everything's more helpful than eek, but yeah. Just so general, like touching this 20-year-old code, and it's like, yeah. Ideally I should commit this separately, but recurring theme, right? So maybe what is missing is simply, so this code is probably simply checking that there are no other things than supposed to be. No idea why. Maybe for rebuilding and deleting stuff that, for the rare case someone modifies this code, it's I'm trying to make sense out of this, right? By the way, there are super many comments, which probably I should take a look at, which is amazing that so many people tune in. And so ideally, I'm not only that I should do other things now, probably, but the other thing is even the timing is not the best timing, because I'm aware that later more people would tune in. But basically, as I said, if I'm not fixing this now, it bugs me the whole day that there is a stupid bug, right? So yeah. Which is basically, like, it's not even the best for my YouTube success to stream on not the peak time, right? Which it is what it is. So let's see comments. Hardest problem I had new developers when it is done. Sometimes I overdid it and spent too long on coding. Mentor explained to me it was not being productive, but sometimes you need to realize you will never write the perfect code. Okay, so yeah, so I am a great fan of ship early, ship often. I would like basically, so my measure is, I mean, first get it working, and then when to commit this to the version control system, like do a second pass of, cool, that is working, scroll over your code, like see if you left some random debugging stuff, like basically like a second quality assurance check path. And then it's like, if there's nothing totally stupid or buggy in there, right? And then I would say release early, release often, and rather basically don't over perfect it, right? And don't micro optimize, like, does it do what it's supposed to do? Then ship it. You can always further guru meditate and stuff, or test suite, like, does it pass test suite? Do you have a test suite? I mean, maybe I didn't start its first comment, sorry, can relate to that. Having a bug back in your head makes it harder to progress other things. Keep thinking about how to fix it. Plus you don't want to allow the situation, bugs left out where. And the other thing is also, I mean, it's not the most important thing, but if you run a widely distributed software project, like even open source, like our Linux distribution, like thinking we have thousands of users out there that could be affected by this bug, right? Is of course, the difference is it's some unused window manager or exotic contribution ethic abandonware project, then of course it doesn't matter as much as core bugs here. Let's see, there's some pretty fun comments. When the GTA code got released, showed mostly comment over all the year planting, so it's easier to understand. Yeah, exactly. And welcome everyone, how's problem developer? So we had this already, wait. Stuck a problem. Get sometimes notepads in the bedroom, sometimes show, suddenly think of a solution. That is amazing. Do you have GTA code We continue a second. Meant to explain. Just good enough code. Sleep. Don't endlessly go back. Refactor it. People love watching us work. Learn so many things. That is amazing. And also, thank you. Can't wait for the tutorials, which can run on anything. Yeah, it can already run on 36 different architecture combinations and stuff, right? The release is already out there. I basically, we could have written the release announcement, but as usual, as all, like even Fedora and other lesser successful Linux distribution, letting this ripe and users test. Even myself, we updated Python stuff. We actually found some last minute bugs caused by a major Python update, right? A lot of things with all the depressive setup tools versus previously distutils and stuff. So actually having some, like if people emerge the KDE and GNOME stuff and that doesn't work due to Python incompatibilities, that would have certainly sucked. Let's fix this bug. This might be all just missing adding this wrapper to this wrapper variable, which I didn't even quite think about the other day why it was there. Does this even, do they comment, whoever did this, maybe Claire? Wrappers. Do they have a comment here? Apparently not. By the way, my new style, I just saw that here. So my new style is, by the way, because even I, after 25 years, still refine my coding style, and it has vastly changed over the years. Probably I should make a dedicated video even for C++. Because, fun fact for C++, my best friend and I, we had a really, because even 20 years ago, when we were young and naive, we wanted, of course, make it better than all the old school developers out there. We had actually a very overly spacious coding style, which in retrospect was also not amazing, right? So basically, my friend and I, we put white space everywhere in C++. So even like something, some object, and like space. So which in retrospect, because we 25 years ago we thought a lot of many open source developers didn't use space at all, right? And that really, like they did like for like only space when necessary. So we found this a little bit, I was like, maybe it doesn't matter, just, you probably get the idea, right? So, and we really hated that, right? So we went to the other extreme and put white space everywhere. That also sucked. So as usual, middle ground, right? Puts the right amount of white spaces. So, and so with that, so my new style is, I'm probably not touching that, but my new style in shell scripting is only put quotes and stuff where necessary. So my new style would be that, and not because it is pointless, right? It's basically equivalent of assigning an empty string to that, like basically that's an empty string, and that too. I find it more readable, but for the sake of history and subversion git blaming files, I'm not touching that, no, just a tiny little remark. So there's our strip stuff. We wanted to add is a strip wrapper to maybe here. Yeah, so we indeed do not add that, right? So we probably need to, I guess it never worked then. Why would, here we have the strip wrapper. So how did this even ever work? I mean, sometimes, I mean, it's kind of pointless for me now to research the history. I'm just curious how this ever have worked, to be honest, because only the base strip wrapper is in there and not strip at all for some reason. So basically we would need wrappers. I should have copied that. So how this ever could have worked, unless there was some refactoring going on there. So that would be X, right? So adding strip or arch target. Or, I mean, I did do some code reorganization, did we? Because I previously, until last year, we had there one more directory, we had there like cross CC, we had there bin wrappers and cross CC, I believe. Maybe it worked somehow with cross CC. Maybe I broke it then really last year. Removing this, in my opinion, superfluous directory. So yeah, what's not tested is broken, right? So, and by the way, theoretically, I mean, should I touch that now? I mean, you know what, maybe I touched it now. We cleaned this up a little bit. How many assignments of empty strings do we have here? Like that. We have more of that here. Okay, not touching all of those now. But is this all? Did this wrap already? Why do we not? Search, there it is. Okay, so there was a for loop of here. So basically, this style is a little bit funny, to be honest. Someone thought, it's also not me, someone thought it's a good idea to put here this empty hash thing. I have no idea where this originated either. I'm kind of tempted to remove this nonsense as well, to be honest. Because this, in my opinion, adds completely nothing here to... I mean, this is like if y separates this with... And this is so pointless. Leave me the comments below. I think it's time to remove that. I think it's fair to do that. I mean, here we could kind of leave it, but I'm not even sure if this extra line... The thing is, we don't do that elsewhere, so why should we do that here? It's a little bit funny, to be honest. Do we have not hardcode? Okay, fine, that is... Okay, I think this is... Usually I try not to mix stuff for history blaming and stuff, but as we touch the strip wrapper thing, I mean, removing these lines is mostly in... If you SVN blame this, you don't even have that there because the line is gone. That's probably a fair change to make in the middle of everything. So wrappers for... wrapper here, so let's add a comment because I was wondering. Delete old. The thing is, yeah, old, potentially old wrappers, old, let's try wrappers G from previous runs and change previous runs and different config or previous runs. Again, not really sure. I mean, apparently someone did this explicitly. I mean, kinda we could remove it, but we have this code here already. So we could probably basically also leave it in there, I guess. It's a rare case, I would say, but it's there, so maybe just leave it there. Yeah. But I guess that should fix it. So we don't test this with Firefox, that would build 10 minutes. So let's test that with Lure and see if the strip wrapper works again. Vito writes, best channel for bug troubleshooters. Happy to hear that. And so the concept is the same. If you're saying just debugging some shell code, hey, often we debug C code or C++ or Rust, and the concept is the same, right? If you like debug similar stuff, like it doesn't even look that different in C and only mildly different in Rust. And by the way, people always ask me which language to learn. I would say I would encourage new developers or old developers not to put that much emphasis in languages. In my opinion, a good programmer should after some years be so flexible to switch to another language in days, if not weeks. Obviously not becoming a master in, like switching from C to Rust or C to C to C++, but in my opinion, I don't think I'm that special. I would say someone with some programming background and years of experience, like a year or two of experience, like in C, it should not be that difficult to switch to another language. except if the concept is vastly different, like Haskell. I mean, maybe Rust a little bit, but it's like learn one language and then, in my opinion, it is usually relatively easy. Or I would suggest to practice a little bit with hobby things on the weekend or so to make it easier to switch to other languages. But leave in the comments below what you think. I never had it that hard to switch to another language, except like Java sucks and Rust is somewhat hardish for me to read, but I still can do Rust code. Or like if I really wanted to do productive Rust code for the future of code, then I think I would be able to fully get into Rust like in weeks and master it pretty well like in a month or so. But ballpark estimates over. Like obviously I worked with Rust and packaged Rust and cargo and fixed and quirked lots of stuff here live on this channel, but maybe I'm preoccupied or have too much experience. But leave me in the comments below what you think. I want to say I'm an expert in C or C++ or D or C# and stuff or Java is in my opinion overrated. But leave me in the comments below. So which strip is that? No, it's a strip wrapper. Yay. So now that should work again. I would hope. Let's call that. That probably shouldn't. Basically, so if we run to test that, and basically we should have we should have a test suite for all of the stuff, which unfortunately we haven't because we historically didn't have time. We were historically happy if we could get stuff to build and work, like on Spark and PowerPC and all the exotic MIPS and stuff. So we spent our time porting stuff to an SG Octane or PS3. So basically, historically, there was really no time. Like we worked already all weekend at night, and there historically simply has honestly been no time, at least for me, to also do test suite. But case in point, if you don't test and have a test suite, it's broken. Even the simplest thing as some strip wrapper, which maybe tonight I research the history how this is broken, because it somehow worked previously and it doesn't now. So it looks like it was broken for a longer time, but maybe again my superfluous directory removal previously. So we built with debugging. So to test that here once, this stuff should not be stripped. So it's not stripped, and so the point of the stuff, to come here full circle, and one last thing, explain again what this is for, that is all the make files of course have stripped hard-coded, right? And so not to necessarily patch all the make files and stuff, we simply, as the compilers, wrap, strip and other object tool and install stuff. So we, with our T2 build sandbox of our simply amazing Linux distribution, can control that without patching like manual labor. Like basically it's pointless and even more error prone with 5,000 or soon 20,000 packages. You can't and don't want to tweak each makefile, cmake and stuff. Like do it generically, then you don't need to bother with the 25 sucking build systems. So let's see, does this, what does it do? Why does it print stuff? Is this, why does this print stuff now? Not which, best one this was. So this should not have stripped that, and not stripped. So that is the difference, right? So this strip wrapper then does nothing, right? So that is a strip wrapper. It's just some shell script, I believe, except for other stuff where it's a C executable. And so yeah, if debug, as you see here, if debug 0, but it's 1, so by the way, is this strip wrapper? Do we set this? Where do we? Here we do this export. Okay, this loop detection thing, good. So as you see, 0 or bypass. So I added this bypass just recently, also last year, I believe. So at that time it should have worked. I probably need to just review the history between adding the strip wrapper bypass, which I needed for the Spark Linux kernel, I believe. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, one more bug fixed, and then we can Yay! With this bug fix, we can debug Firefox later tonight live on Twitch or wherever. So I hope you enjoyed this, learned something. This appears to work. We could, of course, double check that with building, what even was it, x86 debug disabled. That should leave a strip binary. Nothing like double checking your stuff. Spaces where the stops always like tabs more, SSC more, stable, adjustable, standard IDE. So switch to spaces, don't want. What? Spaces with the tabs? I always liked tabs more and they seem more stable and adjustable. But the standard setting on the IDE I'm using is spaces. I like tabs more. It is, I find it quicker to navigate. I mean, it requires less space to store. I'm also totally not a fan of Python's block scope with spaces. Totally hate that. I hate it with a passion. It's, in my opinion, the most stupid thing ever invented. I'm a tab guy. What we do, however, because I like to preserve version history, so what I do, and I believe Claire of Rock Linux history, Claire, the inventor, the founder, inventor of Rock Linux, I think, so this is basically also Claire's style from 25 years ago. I think we agreed on that. And so, however, what I do, and probably Claire also did from 20 years ago, project leading time, what I do is if I need another scope here, but also tabs you can adjust, right? Like if some person likes 4 tabs, like Macintosh users or so, you can adjust it and all the stuff is moving, right? So that's certainly a plus that you could do with spaces, with rewriting all the file and stuff, but it's error prone and so on and not as stable. So some of this looks strange here. Why is this? This is done. Okay, so what I do, however, so usually we use tabs, except like if it's becoming too excessive, then we do manually 4 spaces in between, which, yes, that breaks your tab adjusting, but honestly, most people don't use it, so YOLO. And I do this also to preserve history, right? So if I add some new block scope for stuff, then I do it in between with 4 and 2 spaces, just not to irritate and obstruct the history, right? For me, preserving history, like if I SV and blame, stuff is more important and time saving than re-indenting this stuff all over, right? So tabs it is, except newly added stuff in between with 4 and 2 stuff, except then if you totally refactor that, then maybe some re-indentation if you totally refactor that. But anyway, like here's 4 spaces, so yeah. Anyway, I don't quite like, I'm a tab guy. I don't quite get the obsession of spacing everything. Where did I? But yeah, people can disagree, and if you like, yeah. I also like, if I just do some patch for some project, obviously this needs to match the style. It's a little bit silly that we can't all agree on this. Where even did I not, was it not build tools? Oops. Or did I, there's still some ls in there, I believe. Some debug ls, probably. Like, yeah, I debugged it this last night with, did we create, is it the right place and stuff? Here. Let's do that one more time to see there is nothing straight debug output and stuff. And yeah, it's a little bit silly that we can't agree on all, yeah, we can't even all agree on the basics of spaces versus tabs and indentation, right? But some people write really strange C code, right? It's like some old school and whatnot. You can't believe, like if you open old utils, x386 or whatnot, like for me, over the years, it always was shocking how people can abuse their style of block scopes at the most unusual spaces and line breaks, and absolutely mind-blowing how people format their, some exceptional people format their project sources, by the way. So this should be stripped now, right? So it is stripped, so that works, amazing. We have quite some changes now in there, unfortunately. Also not that, but that. So that is that here. And yeah, my deletion of some lines certainly didn't help there. So I probably refactor that in 2 commits of 1, because I also did here some cleanups. Someone has previously open coded here all the renaming of dot process ID, simple process ID thing here. Obviously, just use cell expansion here. So I probably manually refactor that. The real fix, and that's the thing, right? You stare on 20-year-old code and you're wondering, why the stray hashes? And so the real bug, and also here, this is in, I removed here this type-p thing because in my opinion it is pointless. This is basically testing whether the to-be-linked thing exists, but in my opinion, if we're expecting it to be there, we should just link that and not check if it exists yet. Could be built later, so I would need to full build to test if it breaks something. It should not break something. Anyway, so the real fix is this one, just represent. The other stuff is just removing some strangely empty lines, and here's a style. I mean, even that is different style, right? For me, it's like why put this. I mean, other people, other preferences, but it's also in general not our style, right? Our style is that here, always has been, except sometimes. So I probably split this in 2 commits, like variable. I probably, the simplest way you could do that. Usually you can do this by simply taking chunks of this div. In this case, it's one big chunk. So what I do is I usually retype or copy and paste this into a clean tree, commit it, and then merge that in the second tree of style cleanups and wording here. But yeah, working with vintage code, fixing strange bugs, fun. Then that's it for this video. Now I can concentrate on my business and had another fun live stream here with the fans and audience. I hope you enjoyed to learn something. So many more people, especially in our rapidly growing More Life channel. Absolutely amazing how the YouTube algorithm promoted that over the last days, right? So don't forget, share, like, and subscribe for this massively grown, now 16, probably later today, 17,000 subscribers, 50 freaking thousand views a day. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, liking, and subscribing. And with this success, certainly more motivation and financial headrooms to do even more open source work live here on these channels. Have a good day, and I hope to see you soon for all the next fun stuff to come.